Wow, I really spent 3 years in Taiwan learning shuaijiao. So in 2018, I did some scouting. I did a lot of research, as much as I could at the time. And I got in touch with Thomas Zhuang the shuaijiao instructor here in Pingdong, who I would end up, for the last 3 years learning from primarily. I got in touch with him, and I also went to Mongolia, to the Hufschool Aimag near Hufschool Lake, and I did attend a Nara in Renchenhung near the Russian-Mongolian border, right? And so that solidified some things in my mind. I had to get this. I had to learn it. I love clinch work. I love the wrestling that was in Mantis boxing, but it was being trained in a format that wasn't giving me the skill set I wanted. I wanted to learn wrestling for what it was, as an art, as a fighting skill. And so 3 years later, boom. Or actually, I should say at this point 4 years later, because I spent about a year saving up and getting ready for the move. But yeah, hopped into the Pingdong team. So I really got to give thanks to Coach Thomas Zhuang, or Zhuang Lao Shi, for carrying on the torch and being willing to teach Taiwan Pingdong's shuaijiao fast wrestling. It's quite a formidable and interesting wrestling style, and man, it's too much to discuss just here. But yeah, fast wrestling. It's a really cool grappling style. I learned the basic system, the curriculum, the fundamentals, starting from the 基本动作, the basic fundamental, the archetypal movements and the footwork, learning the associated handwork, learning the stances, 站桩, learning the 斗带, belt cracking, learning 丢沙带, the sandbag or beanbag throwing that works certain sets of skills. All these help create a solid foundation upon which you can start wrestling and throwing people. At least that is the way that this system is conceived. Now, as far as my journey, it's kind of a rocky road. Like I said, there weren't too many people there in the beginning, so half of my first year was mostly just doing those fundamentals, 基本功, and a lot of that was solo, with a little bit of throwing people. I did cross-train in judo at that time to get more experience. I do need to thank Tu Jiaolian in Chaozhou and his folks, especially Lin Xuezhang, for giving me a basic idea of grip fighting and throwing. Although I was working off of shuaijiao basics and they were working off of judo, it gave me a great environment to get in on that stuff. So I really appreciate that, because at that time, like I said, not too many people in the shuaijiao gym. Later, towards competition time in 2020, more people showed up, we started training more, things were good. But unfortunately, while I was training and cross-training, my knee got injured, got kind of bent in, which sucks. And my back got injured, which was terrible. So after the competition, which I kind of managed but didn't do very well in, I got second place. I ended up basically not being able to train very well for the early half of 2021. And then COVID got worse in Taiwan, so we had an actual lockdown, and didn't train during that time. And then afterwards, when we started training again, for some reason my right eye had some kind of inflammation, and I almost lost my vision in my right eye. A lot of things, right? And so lots of ups and downs in 2022. Things were starting to get better, and especially just before and just after the Citizens Games, the Nationals for 2022, the team was doing better. There were more people, there was more motivation. We were working good skills. And I was just starting to find my style. I got into Jagat Mongol Bo, which is the style of Mongolian wrestling in Upper Mongol or Southern Mongolia, also known as Inner Mongolia, Nei Mongol, which is currently in China. Very interesting style, and that's all thanks to Coach Lavelle Marshall, who's devoting his life and on his own wrestler's journey in that part of the world. So that gave me a lot of insights and attributes with which I could use to improve my wrestling overall and my understanding of the shuaijiao that I'm doing. Looking at a similar thing from two different angles gives you perspective, right? And perspective can give you deeper understanding. So that was really helpful, along with guidance from a lot of my sisu or martial uncles, because I have my main teacher, my coach, Zhuang Lao Shi, and he does a really good job pointing out ways to optimize your game and improve your technique. But sometimes it's really important to get different perspectives, like I said, on the same thing. And I think aside from the wrestling, that was one of the most important things that I got. I learned various perspectives. Being Taiwanese American, I have the benefit of being half and half culturally, but there's also that cost. So there's certain cultural differences as far as how things are taught, and there are also cultural differences in terms of the culture of boomers and people my age, right? I'm almost 33 now. So there are definitely certain difficulties. There's also conflicts in terms of what is a good teacher? What is a good way to teach people? Should everyone conform to the teacher's way of teaching? Should the teacher try to adjust his teaching style to optimize this transfer of information to the student? Or should the student be like a robot and be easily programmed so the teacher can have them do what the teacher wants them to do? There are different learning styles, and there's different people that respond well to different things, and there's different kinds of social conditioning. I got a lot of perspective on that. A lot of comparisons, a lot of pros and cons, a lot of also understanding how such a great thing could be on the edge of extinction. It won't go away as far as a competition format, but you guys might have seen the videos I showed you guys about the citizen games here in 2020 and 2022. It was mostly judoka wearing shuaijiao jackets, trying to impose their game, not always very well. Not ideal. It's unfortunate that shuaijiao, as it's being done in Taiwan today, is going to die out, not as a practice per se, but as a high-level wrestling art. It is aging out, and if these things keep being done the way they are, it will only keep going the way it is, right? That's unfortunate, but I will keep in touch with my coach, my martial uncles, my training partners, and hopefully when I'm back, we can breathe new life into this thing, and I can link up with other people in the shuaijiao community here in Taiwan. That said, the future is going to bring me to other places and the advancement of my goals. I'm looking to find a good crucible, a good environment to really bring out my style, my expression of wrestling, based on what I've learned here and based on what I will learn in the future. And I really look forward someday to going to Mongolia and Inner Mongolia to train, to compete, and to embody the spectrum of this wrestling culture. So if there's anything that you guys are interested in, whether it's fundamental drills, training, tips, throws, techniques, let me know. Let me know down in the comments. And for my patrons, I'll be putting this video as well as some more written information and some additional thoughts on Patreon. And obviously, whatever requests you guys have, y'all get first dibs because you guys support me. So consider becoming a patron if you aren't already. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow, whatever, you know what to do. And as always, thank you for following me on my journey. I salute yours. Peace.